Hello and welcome to Two Man Power Trip of Wrestling. I'm your host, JP John Paz. With me today is a very special guest. You may know him as Grappler 8. He's a podcast host, a producer. Also, you may know him from Bromance with Vince Russo. He is, of course, Dr. Ocho himself, the Grappler number 8. Dr. Ocho, how you doing today, sir?
Spectacular, man. Excited to be here. I was this is technically my first true interview, if that's what we call it.
Really? How is that possible?
Oh yeah, because usually people just want me to go on and go, "Hey, look at me. Look at what I got. Check this out." And I kind of cause a ruckus, and then I'm good in small doses, and people turn the channel after 15 minutes. So this is if this is a sit down, then this is a first. So congrats, buddy.
Nice. All right. I like that. I like being the first. I like, doing that kind of stuff.
The
What have you been up to,
de-virginizing
though?
the Ocho-ness, I guess, right?
Yes, you got to do that. Have to do that. So, what are you up to? What's going on in your world?
I'm up to my neck in nonsense is what I am. And being a chiropractor, I love the whole neck thing. But yeah, what am I up to? I found out you're a Jersey guy, man. So
Hell yeah.
I broke out my it's a Jersey girl shirt, but as we can see, look, nobody messes with a Jersey girl,
That's
right?
right. That's true.
So I figured we got a lot to discuss. We got a lot to talk about. This is going to be a commonality of sorts. But you're such a calm guy, man. You're so docile, and you just ring it in. And I'm going to be bouncing like a pinball. So we're going to see how this bad Oscar goes.
Yeah, it's going to be a little yin and yang going on right
Oh,
now,
it's
I
going to be
think. Yeah.
yang and yang back. I feel like
So, obviously, you've got the mask on. I wanted to ask you that first. You got the gimmick. Why the mask? Why do you need to wear the mask?
nobody needs to see what I look like.
Okay.
Believe me. And look, why the mask? The mask was how everything started. I mean, shit. We know how the. All right, well, let's go into it. So,
Yeah.
just for the hell of it, I listened to Vince Russo, the brand. We all kind of met this way,
Hmm.
and I heard these Chuck Wagons doing a funny bit, and they were called the Grapplers. And I'm usually a leader, but in this instance, I did follow because, man, I thought that was funny. I thought they were so damn funny. I thought their wit was funny. And I happened to hit one of them up one day and I said, dude, just FYI, hit me back or not, but you guys are funny as shit. I think it was 6 at the time that I hit up first, or it might have been X actually. So I think, and then X said, hit this guy up. And so I was like, hey, by the way, if I said, I don't know if I'm funny. I don't think I am, but like, I think my brain is a lot faster than most. So if you ever want to expand, hey, hit me up. But great job. Super nice. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks. Appreciate it. Glad you like it. And keep listening. And I did. And not that there was much going on with them because it was just kind of Twitter and we're going, I think 3 years ago now, I'd say. So and they were on like Russo a couple times and then now I'm really going into it. We're gonna have to go straight into it.
Yeah, get into it.
There was a coon incident. The Mac. I don't want to. That sounded racist. I don't mean it like that. That was terrible. Can we bleep that out? There was
I might have
coon,
to.
Yeah, there was the coon incident that months later, and they hit me up and they said, listen, there's a little bit of a run-in going on Twitter. Take a look at it, and then we're gonna do a rebuttal. Can you help us out with some rebuttalness? And a couple hours later, I sent a few things in, and they did a video, and they liked what I wrote, and it was Grappler 6 at the time, and he said, "Dude, you're in. We're gonna start this now. You ready?" And I was like, "Okay, cool." And that's how the mask started, because it's almost like the initiation. Some fraternities do like little tattoos or something like that, I guess, and
Yep.
I guess the mask is the fraternal initiation. But I've also gone a little haywire with mine. I just have a mask now because I like to see a little better. There's the everybody knows I'm Ocho, so the 8 kind of fell off, and we're good with that. But that's how that whole thing started, just on a goof. That's how, honestly, there's so much more that started on a goof. I'll let you run the ship, But that's how that whole thing started with the mask.
Where'd you get the mask from? Like, did they give it to you? You bought it on your
Oh
own?
no, I listen. I went out of my pocket and hundreds and hundreds of dollars because we only get high quality stuff.
Right.
But I mean, Dr. Ocho, I got that kind of coin. So I went out of my pocket and said, "Don't you worry, I got this." And no, we're kind of independent contractors, I guess we'd say, much like with Vince McMahon, right? Would that
Yep.
be it?
Yep.
So no, yeah, you buy you get a mask and you pick your whatever your color and you do your fun little thing. And I like to keep it basic because gold is always first place, and Ocho is always in first place. So that's kind of how that happened. Again, no rhyme or reason, just pick and choose and doing what you do. But that was no, that was pretty much it. I got my own mask, and you got to grab the bull by the horn sometimes too. Show some
Absolutely.
initiative.
Absolutely. So, why did it go from Grappler 8 to Dr. Ocho? Is this because of your shoot job?
Yeah, well, I mean, Ocho started because I like to rip things off. So let's remember that.
Okay.
The movie Dodgeball, right?
Yep.
ESPN 8 the Ocho. As soon as number 8 was out, I said I'm Ocho, and that was it. And then of course the Dr. Ocho was, yeah, somebody outed me a little bit. And really, what a horrible troll if if that was your comeback, where like they outed me and saying, "Oh yeah, well you have a doctor in your group." And I could still see Grappler 7 replying, "Yeah, great comeback. Sorry we have smart people in our group." And I'm just laughing
Right.
at now at just how bad the trolling was. Like your comebacks are so lame, but that was just how it got outed. And like, why not run with it then? Like, okay, I'm not ashamed of it. I mean, come on.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something that's actually like really impressive?
You'd
This
think,
guy's
I
a
mean, and
damn doctor.
and it was never meant to be that way. But part of the charm of Ocho is how, again, I'm 100 miles an hour, and I really, really talk about nonsense, everything nonsense, everything nonsense, useless info, and then every once in a while I'll spit some fire at you that is so factual that you're gonna go, holy shit, how does he know that? Maybe he's not even freaking telling the truth. And then you're gonna look up exactly what I wrote, and then you're gonna go, holy shit, he's telling the truth on that. How the hell did he know that? And I would throw it in every once in a while just to give the dig that, like, look, I can hide it, but every once in a while it's just gonna kind of fall out, the truity of everything. I made that word up.
Yep. Definitely not a real word. So who's the
Exactly.
troll? Who's the troll?
Oh, just plenty. Don't you worry about it. It's been discussed. It was a GMG. It wasn't a GMG. It was the what GMG was about.
Right.
That was pretty much it. But yeah, no, that was, and again, it was just still, or it was just about like what things I have in my possession, which kind of did cost some money. And they were like, okay, so again, your trolling is just horrible because that meant he had enough money to spend on it. Sure, some things may be childish if they were factual, but you had enough money to spend on it. How is that really hurting the guy? Like you're not exactly outing the guy anyway. So, but
So
and
you're
again, also owning it up means you just take the power back, which is like some sort of freaking phrase that people say from Tony Robbins or something, I think.
you're a doctor and you're rich, but you got to get ripped on for that. Is that what
Yeah, I
we're
mean,
getting
well,
at?
rich, I'm a dick, so we can say that.
Right.
But I wouldn't say I'm more of a Richard than rich. So we can call it with that. But they were just weak. That's all. And it
Yep.
was so funny because, again, what was great about uh, the group was we really did think alike and quick. It was just the weirdest thing. I'll peel it back again. We had such a good time with it because it was so fluky, like just a bunch of idiots who just happened to get on Twitter, who happen to listen to Russo's brand, and they put their thing together, and you get like-minded people. And our tweets were just so they were so. It's a humble brag. It's a humble brag because they did spectacular. Like they were. they were like, it was like checkmate every time. Every time you'd send it, when you'd get a troll and then you'd send your rebuttal, it was checkmate every time, because it was really like working with such oh, you don't have a, well, you show your face, like, okay, yeah, that's good. And then we'd blast them with something that they wrote that was just such the most verbal judo, and it was so fun to watch. And then you'd get the block, and that was the whole thing. And that's, again, I'm kind of running around in a little bit of a grappler circle for a bit, but that's sometimes the trolls really aren't as good as the ultimate trolls, which is what we kind of perfected.
So did you know any of the grapplers beforehand, or not?
No,
None
nothing.
whatsoever.
Never,
Interesting.
never. That's what's funny about it.
Yeah,
Like,
fluky.
never,
Yeah.
never. And we still talk. They're doing their thing. I'm all for it. I'm doing my thing. Like, and they're on the other side of the country, so it is easier for them. And dude, they were so cool with me. We had so much freaking fun. I've had conversations, my God, hours and hours of conversation, not even about grappler stuff, but like, which is still kind of trips me out. Like, how about that? Just because we went on the same website, just because we listened to the same show, we wound up becoming chummy. And I needed advice. I had to call one of them. You know what I mean? Like, they want a question answered, they'll call me. It's that's the cool part of it. So they're doing their thing, I'm doing my thing. But we were very, very, we each complimented each other. Each one had the own uniqueness that, like, when you combined it, it was almost like that recycling thing. You remember that recycling arrow?
Yes.
That's kind of
Yep.
what we had. So super fun time too. And no, don't know them from anybody. Don't even know their freaking names. I don't. They're not. They're in my phone at 6 and 7, and I will talk to them. And my quarantine lady will be like, you still call him 7? Like, well, that's his fucking name to me. Oh, am I allowed to swear? Shoot, I'm on
Sure.
YouTube.
Go for it.
Oh,
Yeah.
all
Sure.
right,
Go.
all right, good. But yeah,
So
it's just kind of funny how that just plays out, and you'd meet people like that. And go
So
ahead,
with
buddy.
Russo, I was gonna say though, with Russo, so you're a wrestling fan. Is that how you got turned on to Russo? Like, how did you find the brand?
So, I you know what's funny? I didn't want to pay for my satellite radio anymore. I was getting turned off with Stern.
Hmm,
This has got to be about
same here.
2016 ish and 2015. And then and I always heard about Vince. Didn't really know who he was, honestly. I heard the name. I knew he was the writer, but I didn't. If I saw him, I wouldn't know who he was. But I subscribed to a couple podcasts, and he was one of them. And he was so down to earth, and so what you see is what you get. And I was like, all right, this guy's very polarizing. Like, you kind of, if you don't like him, you're going to listen to him. But if you do like him, you're going to listen to him.
Right.
Something about him, and a charmer too. Plus, again, a New Yorker, I guess. You know, Northeast kind of, we
Stick together.
it's tough. It's tough to, you know. I wouldn't know what a guy from Indiana really thinks, but I know what a guy from New York thinks, even, you know, across the river. So, and that was again fluky, just fluky, and just started listening, and just like that there was a new show like every day or every other day. He was doing interviews at the time. I feel like I remember he like interviewed Paul Orndorff. And so now, again, I'm a wrestling fan too. I was, you know, as a kid. That's obviously how the whole thing started. But and well, shit, now that I think about it, even with how I got with Vince was just on a fluke because of Twitch. Or no, not Twitch, Skype. I don't know if you remember that. He used to do the
No.
Skype show. So he would do a Skype show every Saturday, and you just call in. And one night I was like, oh man, he's in Colorado, so late for us, you know, like Saturday night. We're young guys, especially Ocho, ageless and timeless. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to call in just for the hell of it. Threw the hood on. And I never talked to him. I didn't have anything planned. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how he was going to receive me. I knew he knew who the group was. So I was like, why not? I'm going to try it. I have never been on a microphone in my life. I have never been in front of a camera in my life, unless I'm doing a selfie. I don't do this. So I remember being nervous, and I click in on Skype, and I get through, and I couldn't tell you one word I said, but I ranted. I flexed like an idiot, screamed my head off. I don't think he got one word in edgewise. It was a freaking 14-minute debacle. And then we just hang up. And before we hang up, he's like, bro, I got to have you on next week, man. You got to call back. I got to find out more about you. You're a nut job. I mean, I guess they like the nut jobs, but again, fluke. That was it. So he would do
Entertaining.
that.
He liked you. You were
I,
entertaining to him.
Unintentionally, I was just going off on a tangent, I think. But yeah, so he would say every week, all right, we got to have Ocho on. And then it became to the point where if I didn't get through or if I didn't call in, he'd just start calling me. It got every week. It's flattering too, man, because I'm like, man, it's kind of funny. This guy's like, man, we got to do a show with Ocho. Ocho, he didn't get on yet. We got to hear what that maniac has to say. And then he's got his son there. He's like, you got to look at this idiot over here. Look at this man. Not really. He's not saying idiot, but he's like, Will, come here. Check out this maniac who calls in every week. So that's how that whole thing started. Dude, it's so funny how none of it was ever planned and how it kind of just became what it was, which is what
Weird.
wrestling should do.
Right. It should let the chips fall where they may, you know?
Yeah, let it be organic, man. I'm breaking a sweat, dude. This is how I know I'm doing good because I am not letting you get a word in edgewise.
Break that sweat. Get that broken down. So with Russo, obviously, you guys do bromance together too. How did that come about?
Yeah, we just always said, hey, we should do a little. I always thought it would be like a half-hour thing, little half-hour show, like just to
Right.
we didn't, because he stopped doing the Twitch thing, and it was just like, bro, when are we doing a show together? And I was like, hey man, I'm ready, and I'm good. I'm okay with that. I don't know what I'm bringing. Shit, to this day, I still don't. I get it, but I don't, because I feel like, and that's the other thing about Vince too. Like, he's been able to pull. He's a charmer, so you do run out of ranting and Vinny, look at this and check out my guns, and I get that. And then even when there's a power pause, I'll be like, Vinny, have I flexed lately? You know, just to set the reset mode. But he'll start to peel back the layers a little bit. And then you know what sucks about that? Because I did have being a dick down to a science. And not only that, I had it in like such a charming manner that nobody really got mad at me. Like, I was doing really good. I could really offend you, but in such a nice way where you weren't mad because I was stating something factual, but I was still a dick. And then they find out, like, well, he's actually not a bad guy. And I'm like, I'll get a DM. Hey, I appreciate the advice you gave me, and hey, don't fucking tell a soul. I don't need anybody hearing that I'm nice. I don't want to be nice. Piss off. Don't DM me again. All right. I never said it like that. But so Vince was able to kind of open me up a bit too, as far as like, how I met wrestlers and why I know so many different people. And it's easy to talk to him too, because he really does he talks to you like you're just a chum. You know what I mean? That's what was cool about it too. Made it easy. It made it very easy to do a show with him.
He's kind of like an old school Howard Stern. I don't know about Stern anymore. He kind of
Right. No, I feel
went
like that.
lost his
Like,
mind and went nuts, but he's like the old school Stern.
that's literally what it is. It's like you feel like you feel like you're only talking to him. And he doesn't ask anything so outlandish, because it's like, look, he legit wants to know. It's not like when Stern would be like, come on, you got her naked, right? Like something like that, but we always wanted to know. Stern would ask the right questions, the stuff that we legit wanted to know, not the, what Entertainment Tonight would ask. And that's how Vince was. You're absolutely right. And you're like, well, it's just him and I. And then the 100 people in the chat on YouTube, and then the 40 on Twitch, and then the 3,000 that are going to see it on YouTube later. But it's just us. It's good. So that's where, like, everybody knows I'm a Jersey guy. Everybody knows, like, I worked on wrestlers now. Everybody knows, like, who my circle is, I guess, for lack of a better saying. So it's a lot of it's out of the bag, but I still hold a little bit to the vest or to my chest, which is still getting jacked as hell.
Is that why the mask, though? Do you not want the people that you work on to know that you do a podcast with Russo and that
Uh,
you're a grappler
they
and all this other stuff?
No, they know. I leave the mask on at the office now too, so I kind of just like
Really?
no, no, I don't know.
I was gonna say,
See,
Jesus
that's
Christ.
oh, I only say that because Vince had his dad on one time, and Papa Russo was like, "Ocho, you doing your work with the mask on too?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, we always wear the the little mask to cover, but like, yeah, of course I wear the mask. How are they gonna know it's me if I don't?" But that's no, it's they get a kick out of it. It's they know what they're getting into when they walk into the office now at this point. But again, I do have enough of a like a respectability because of who's vouched for me over time in the real world that they're like, okay, well, he does this, when he's off the clock. There should be one day in the office where like I'm having a podcast and hey, let me do this quick adjustment here and just start smacking people around. But no, that's not going to happen. We want to stay with HIPAA.
Do you think that some of the clientele would be like, "Oh, this guy's like a huge mark," or "This guy, whatever"? Like, do you ever think stuff like that?
Nobody in my office knows what the word mark is.
You
They
know
have
what I
no
mean?
clue.
Like, this
No,
guy's a
I
big
get
fan. Like, he's nuts.
no. I haven't heard it yet, so I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I haven't heard it yet. I don't know that I've lost anybody, but
Do do you think that you were falling in the pantheon of great chiropractors that were in the wrestling business, like the Ultimate Warrior and Sean Stasiak? Do you think you were falling in that order there?
I love the company. I actually, and by the way, Ultimate Warrior did go to the school I went to, and I
Get
didn't.
out of here!
Yeah, that's where he went. He went to
Wow.
Life Chiropractic in Marietta, Georgia, years and years ago. I think he was in like the early '80s, and I graduated in '98. But I and I remember when Sean Stasiak did graduate. I forget where he went, but no, I did. FYI, I did take bumps too because I wound up actually. Well, tell you what. Do you want me to go into the story of how I knew the wrestlers, or do you want to?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so I'll
Then we'll
do
get
that.
into the bumping. Yes,
All
yes.
right, so
Do
I'll
that
do
first.
that. So, um, a Ace Darling, indie darling guy, actually. I don't know. You might know him because he's a local yokel.
Yeah,
So I
Mike Moraldo.
graduated.
I interviewed him
Yeah,
before. Yep.
come on. Oh my God.
Seen him wrestle. I got it. I gotta say, 20 something times because he was on New Jersey Independent scene. We used to go to all the indie shows, and him and Devin Storm were like the two biggies. They were the two,
And that's
great
who was a
wrestlers.
friend of yours too, who I'm friends with also. And he
Yes.
being a PT, so obviously
Yep.
we have that camaraderie. So Mike or Ace, I never saw him wrestle once because I was never around.
Right.
And then we reconnected back in about 2010, 2011 ish. And again, he bumps, bruises, he's doing his own thing. And so he started coming to my office. And through him, I met Robbie E. It was actually right after Hurricane Sandy. And it was Robbie wanted an adjustment. And again, much like with Vince or anybody I seem to come in, they get a kick out of me, and I'm not doing anything out of the ordinary. I'm not putting on a show. I don't think I am. I'm just doing my shit, just living a day-to-day life. And Robbie gets such a kick out of it, Rob actually, and he's like, dude, you should be a manager or something, man. You gotta, and I'm like, what? Get out of here. I was like, I already have a job. He's like, no, but just try it out. Why not? Why not? So then Rob sets me up with Damian Adams, who I think you know.
Yes.
I wind up going up to his place for a few months. Deanna Perrazzo, they're hitting me with bumps and everything, and they're teaching me stuff. And I went to a few shows, and I'm being a manager and cutting promos. And so I guess I lied. I should say I did talk in front of a mic a couple times, but not in front of a camera because these were
There you
all
go.
like indie shows, like in a park or something like that, or
Yep.
at whatever VFW that has a ceiling more than 15 feet high.
Yes. Been in
Because
those
I don't think
before. Yeah.
anybody can go on the top rope at some of the places.
Yes. Or they do those like half rings sometimes,
Yes,
where you
yes.
literally can just step on the apron just
And
with one foot. Yeah.
they're they look like the circus ones too. Yes, I get that. So that was and I remember I got hit in the head with a can of Pringles one time, and I was like, I made it. I freaking made it.
Wow. They hated you.
Yeah, I was so good at it. But so that's, and again, just for the I like trying shit. I get bored with shit pretty damn quick. Don't get me wrong, but I love trying shit. And when, a guy, and he was in TNA at the time and he was on TV and he was starting to really gain some traction. And I was like, look, I don't know if he was saying this just to blow smoke. So why not try it? Like, what the hell? So I learned, I do know how to bump a bit. I do know, I can do some things, and I can scream and rant and rave, much like has to be done at times. I'm never scripted, which I mean, I only was in about 8 shows, 8 Ocho, but I certainly didn't do like the WWE where you have to say every freaking word and period at the same time.
Right.
It was a little more heartfelt, but and then so after that, I got in connection with the Monster Factory. From Damien and Deanna were doing a show, and it was down at the Monster Factory. I meet Danny Cage. I meet Punisher. The Martinez, who is a Damian Priest now, who's crushing it now. Matt Riddle. I meet all these guys. I meet Blue Meanie, super nice guy. Now Meanie is like a legit nice guy. He would care for you if he sees you in a crisis. He is legit gonna freaking drop everything and help you out somehow. That's how I called him. I was like, dumb joke. Hey, you should be the Blue Nicey. And he said Shawn Michaels said that to him one time. So there you go, Meanie. I know. Don't think I forgot that. So I meet these guys. Company. And then I just start Monster Factory does shows every month. I'd come out with my portable gimmick and just take care of the guys, man. Like it's, they're putting their bodies on the line. They're taking care of me. I was okay with it. They were, it was a win-win on everybody's end. They walked out feeling better than they would have. I can't say fixed because they did beat the shit out of themselves. And then everybody knows everybody in this freaking business. So it just starts to turn out like I get questions. I get DMs. Hey, if I did this, what could I do? Did I strain something? Did I sprain something? All right, let me see the report. Things like that. So it just freaking talk about a snowball. And that's pre-Ocho.
Yeah.
And they don't know who the fuck Ocho is.
That's true. What was the gimmick? What was your name or your gimmick, if you can reveal it?
I was just like this preppy golf guy who was like a trust fund kid. It was just stupid. I get it was thought up in the car ride. Robbie and I were driving actually to like Wharton, New Jersey, and he's like, and I'm like, I kind of play golf all the time. Why don't I do like this freaking snooty thing? And he's like, yeah, it's probably been done. I was like, yeah, but maybe I could do it. He's like, go ahead, try it. I don't care. So that's all. And I got 1,000 collared shirts, and I got the knickers, and I got the fun little hat and all that. So that's all. It wasn't good. So it was just, but it's something I wanted to try. And it's still there if ever need be.
What if Ocho turns heel and he becomes Preppy Ocho with the mask? That's not a bad idea.
Well, there actually is a video that was on Twitter about 2 years ago of Ocho on the golf course crushing a drive with the hat, with the knickers, and maybe we'll post that I'll repost it on Twitter and I'll tag you because It's just one of those things that Ocho just seems to be able to do a lot of things. He can do a lot of things really good. Not many things great. I'll admit it, but damn, I'm good.
There you go. So were you wearing the mask though, or were you just wearing a hat?
On the golf course?
Yeah.
Full hood, buddy. Mask. You'll see it. Oh, you'll see it.
I know they're pretty like snobby on the course. I remember one time I Happy Gilmore'd it, and they freaked out on me that I was a hack, quote unquote hack, and unprofessional because I ran up to the ball and hit it, Happy Gilmore style.
What were you doing on the first tee? Was it a Marshall or something like that?
It was the first tee because that was like how you get. I really get some good momentum out there.
Warming up.
Yeah.
Well, I was on a dog track one day just for the hell of it. It was like one of them like, hey, let's go, hit the ball and see if we can't lose too many.
Yeah, so now I'm just like, screw that place. I'm not going back.
Hell no. You don't need that. Come on. Yeah. Like taking the fun out of it is the worst thing anybody could do. I get it. The integrity and the professionalism and, calling your own penalties. But like, just shut up. Let me freaking take a swing, you dumbass. Damn it.
Did you want to be a pro wrestler, though?
No.
Never?
As a kid, no. No, because I was tiny. I mean, yeah, I get it. Like, even at my ageless and timeless age, I get it. I was a tiny kid. But I just remember I was watching, it would be like midnight, it would come on after racing from Yonkers, professional wrestling. And I'd be like, how are they not bleeding, man? They look like they're hitting each other so hard. And I'm the youngest, and my brother's like, well, they're not really hitting them. And I was like, get out of here. They're not really hitting them. So all I wanted to do was find out how real it was. But these guys were giants, man. Remember they come to the high schools? I mean, I guess
Oh
you're
yeah.
a lot younger than me, but still, you're in that same genre. They'd be local, and you get to stand next to them. I guess because I was only 10, maybe it made a difference. But my God, these guys were monsters, and I would have never said I want to do that. That's why when I remember we were seniors in high school, and Meraldo was like, "I'm gonna do that," and I was like, "You're gonna die. You're gonna die, Mike," and he never died. So there's egg
Yeah.
on my face.
He actually ended up being pretty damn good.
That's what I hear. I've never seen him one time. And
Oh
that
my
sucks
god.
on my part. That really does. I wasn't a bad friend. I wasn't really, you know what sucks too? And Scott Hall got mad at me for this. I love name dropping
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I could be
Scott
making this
Hall.
whole,
Oh my
oh, I
god.
could be making this whole shit up. You would have no clue to fact check it because you ain't calling him. But this is what's great. I could say whatever the hell I want. However, my story's consistent. So when I met Scott Hall, I was working on him, and he was asking me. He knew about my school because he lived in Atlanta, and it was only friggin' 10 miles from where they used to do their wrestling shows. And I was like, yeah, I gotta say that he was like, when did you go to school? I was like, 94 to 98. And he's like, oh my God, you lived down there? I was like, yeah, I was a bartender too, right in Atlanta. He's like, no way, man. You must have had a great time. I was like, I did. He was like, and the wrestling was awesome. And I went, I have no clue if it was. And he goes,
Oh,
what? And I was like, I know, dude. I know what happened. And he goes, I said, I wasn't watching. I was like, dude, I'm going to school all week. I'm bartending on the weekends, and I'm trying to get ass when I can. I mean, like, this is terrible. And he's like, you missed the hardest freaking time, man. You missed the biggest. And I was like, I know. I was like, just let me have it. Ream me, freaking call me whatever. And,
yeah. How did you
you know,
miss that era?
I would,
Especially in Atlanta, WCW, the
I was
83
in
weeks
their
of dominance.
territory.
Oh god, the NWO. Oh,
Missed the whole
Hollywood
thing.
Hogan. How the hell did you miss that?
I
Damn.
missed the whole thing. I caught wind of it in like 2000 ish and would have to like listen, watch whatever replays that were on or anything, or because there weren't many documentaries at this point either, still regular cable. So, and that's kind of how I got back. My friend got me back into it right around that point, but I left around 92 ish. Like,
Damn.
once the Warrior left the first time, I was kind of gone. I didn't see any returns, and I screwed up. I know. I mean, not that I missed anything from 92 to 96 ish, but from 96, I know. And I'm
Damn.
not going to sit there and watch every freaking episode week by week either. But I got the gist of it. And I do realize I missed. Damn it all.
Man, the
Sorry.
Monday Night Wars. How the heck?
Every bit of it. Missed
How in
the
the
whole
world?
thing. I caught the very tail end of the wars where like maybe like it was a year that I watched, and then Vince bought out WCW.
Damn.
So it's like I
So
watched the contract signing. Basically, I got the worst part of it.
so with Scott Hall, you're name dropping here. How do you know Hall though? Is it from
Just
doing
working on
some?
him.
Okay.
Yeah, just he'd do appearances, and then when I saw him at Starcast, and he again made fun of me. And plus, I actually wanted to see, working on Kevin Nash. Like, I was just glad he fit on my table. I got a portable fold out table, and the leg piece can only come out so far. These guys are so big. These guys are so freaking big. And I know you know this, and I know people know this, but these guys are so freaking big. It's insane. It's literally insane.
Nash is. I've worked with him a few times. Man, he is a monster. Can be a little ornery at times, which is a little scary, but he is a monster. I mean, whew.
You don't want to. You don't even know what he's thinking. But my God, he's calmer than you, man. Like
Yeah.
that guy's voice does not change octaves ever, and it's just like he speaks in like fragments, almost like Shaquille O'Neal a little bit, but not as choppy. And he's you don't know if like he's about to shake your hand or like turn you into a couch cushion or something. It's but look, not a guy you want to get. on his bad side.
Nope. I was working with him a couple years ago. He hadn't eaten, so he's a little cranky, a little ornery. And I'm like, "Oh, can you sign a bunch of stuff, as you're working through the line?" He's like, "Nah," like very calm. He goes, "No, I'm not doing it." I'm like, "Okay, like what do you what
Yeah,
am I
all
gonna
right,
say?"
no,
So a
yeah,
little
no,
bit
no,
later, he
I
goes like,
want you to.
yeah, a little bit later, he calls me over. He goes, "Give me the stuff to sign." After he ate like a protein bar and all this other stuff, I was like, "Whew,
That's
he's
all he
good now."
needed,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
But still, no explanation. Not like, hey,
nope.
man, I was hungry. So, like, but like, who's gonna say anything to him? And from what I hear, he's a good guy though too.
Oh,
Like,
he's
I don't,
awesome. Yep,
I don't, you don't hear like too many stories about him or anything. Like, so, and I don't pay attention too much now either. But like, it's funny when you meet somebody on this personal level too,
right.
because they really 90 what am I saying? I gotta say 99.9% of them were just regular dudes every time. And I mean, Kurt Angle, freaking Flair, Waltman, all the Luger, Arn Anderson, these guys, Road Warrior Animal, they're just dudes. And when they get around their own guys, they're even more calm, it seems like. You know what I mean? So, like,
Yep,
I was in the green room for StarCast one time, and they knew it was like their safe zone. So they knew everybody there was safe. Nobody's going to, take shots or whatever. And
yep.
so it's like their guard was let down. They were just guys. It was really freaking wild. And you don't want to insult them and say, I've been watching you since I was a kid because I'm 47 now, ageless and timeless, of course. So
Yep.
they're going to go, oh, thanks, you dick. Now I feel really old. So it, you do wind up still stuttering a little. At least I did, even though, dude, you don't want to mark out, man. You got to act normal, much like I'm doing right now, acting normal, just like I always do, John.
Yes.
Fuck.
So, are you the chiropractor to the stars officially? Like,
Oh,
the
of course.
chiropractor for the wrestlers officially?
No, there's no. I don't make official titles. I just I take them. I don't. There's no belt. I know that, but I know when they're in my area, I'm the guy, which is easy to do. Um, and I still keep in contact with a bunch of them, so I'm always on call for advice or something like that. Look, everybody branches on, everybody moves off, and they find somebody, and that's cool too. And I'm all for that. I want them to just get somebody if it ain't me, and as long as they're good, as long as they care for them. So that's why I don't want to peel back too much, but I'm a caring guy, and I hate saying that. So please edit that out. You don't
Yes,
have
I
to edit
will.
it out.
Yeah, you're not a caring guy. We
No,
know
no,
that.
no. Believe me, fuck that.
So, like with the chiropractor, just a random question that no one might get or understand, but are you a hands guy or are you using this machine crap?
I mean, I do, I
Or
do,
do you do both?
I'll do everything. So here's
Okay.
the way I look at it: is um, there's components to either injuries or alignment problems, and it's soft tissue and hard tissue. There's always going to be both components because what attaches to hard tissue meaning bone, soft tissue meaning muscles, ligaments, tendons. What attaches to hard tissue is the soft tissue. So let's say you fall off a roof and you come in my office and you're hunched and I go, okay, the bone's out of whack, let me just snap it back in place. That ain't going to do shit because the soft tissue is so swelled up, it's going to haul it back out of place anyway, right from the get-go. Or it's not going to move and you're going to haul off and swat me right square in the mask because it's going to hurt. So there's a component where you have to take down whatever or relax the area first, which I like to do. It's proven to work. PT modalities are I mean, PTs wouldn't use them if they didn't work. Ultrasound, myofascial release, things like that, which then increases the functional activity of the soft tissue to where then I can apply the pressure to the bone, the hard tissue, to at least align somewhat where it should. Because a lot of times I'm using a trauma as an example, it ain't going right back. You got to coax it back in. It'll take a few. Whereas you just slept wrong, okay, boom boom boom, out the door. But I always address both because there's always going to be a component of both no matter what happens. At least I can't say it's not factual because I've been doing it for 20 years and it's been working.
Do you think that if Warrior wasn't a chiropractor, that you would ever became a chiropractor?
I didn't know he was actually.
Oh,
I only found out after.
you seem like you knew his life story. Like you went to the
I
life
knew it after.
chiropractor.
Well, so
Hmm.
here's another God's honest truth. So I was a freshman in high school, and I wrestled 103 in high school. Yeah,
Oh
I was
my
jacked
God,
and juicy as all hell. Yes,
103.
Ocho was one half of this, and I didn't have to suck weight or anything either. My freshman year, I was so skinny, and my brother, my oldest brother, who was working out, he's 7 years older, which again, I'm ageless and timeless, so you can figure that out whatever you want. He's like, you got to see this guy on wrestling. And it was Wrestling Superstars, and the Ultimate Warrior came out, and I went, holy shit, I have to go to a gym. Again, another fluky thing, but I really feel like that decision did change my life in that respect because I became a little more coherent of anatomy, physiology, muscle symmetry, muscle growth, learning nutrition. So just because I saw that lunatic run to the ring, shake the ropes, clothesline a guy, and pin him, I don't give a fuck what anybody says about who could work. Because anybody who says these workers, when all you amateurs who are podcasters love to use the word worker, you don't know shit. You don't know what you're talking about. You've never worked in your life. You've never had to convince somebody that what you're doing is true. The Ultimate Warrior, no, he didn't do moves. He convinced us that he was kicking the shit out of people. And I'm not trying to offend anybody. I get it. He didn't do the moves. He didn't do moonsaults, whatever the term of worker was. But to me, he worked me because I was like, dude, that guy's jacked. He kicks the shit out of people. I'm joining a gym.
And hey, his popularity was through the roof. The crowd loved him. He could say gibberish, whatever the hell he was talking about, and they loved it. They ate up with a spoon. Anything he said, they loved.
You notice in that did you ever see the self-destruction of the Ultimate Warrior DVD?
Yes, it's not good,
So
but I've seen it.
yeah,
Yeah,
now here's what I took away from it. You had all the the Jim Ross and Jim Cornette and Flair and and McMahon, and those guys bashed him because they worked with him. But if you noticed, Jericho, Christian, Edge, they were all on it. They didn't say too many bad things.
right.
If
They loved him.
anything,
Yeah,
they were still saying you didn't care because he still ran in and kicked the shit out of people. So you were like, yay. I remember Jericho specifically saying that. So it's kind of funny how when you try, they even tried to smear him, but those guys who were fans of him, they they knew what it meant to the business still.
yep.
So
And Jericho
that's what I took a kick out of with.
and Jericho made a great point. He said, in every big match, you always remember that match, and it was always good. Hogan, Savage, Rick Rude. I mean, just Slaughter. Remember all his matches, and they were all good. So it's like,
Hogan Warrior, man. Like,
yeah,
and you still, and everybody goes, and Hogan carried him. And like, when did Hogan become this freaking worker? And now I don't mean it like that. Because to me, Hogan still convinced me that he kicked the shit out of people. I didn't care that he punched the guy 5 times and kicked him in the head with his leg and then I didn't, he convinced everybody. If he was a bad worker, that when they counted 3, nobody would have cheered. That's all I got. And I understand what people say with evolution, and I'm going very old school, and I know it ain't gonna work like that now, but it doesn't mean he didn't work. So, but
right.
now all of a sudden Hogan was the guy who carried the Warrior. And maybe he did, but it wasn't like you were going, oh, and then at least we got Hogan to work at Warrior, so that'll be a good match. Yeah,
See, the
but
thing
they
with
delivered.
And the thing with Hogan to me, which I think is funny, like the guy is more over either pointing or throwing a one punch than somebody else is doing like 3 Canadian destroyers in a row and a flip. So that guy, Hogan, is the better worker than the guy doing all the crazy moves because he can get more reaction from a finger than that guy can from like a flip and a dive. Yeah.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
Mic drop right there. Rock Hogan at WrestleMania. Hogan is the bad guy. He points at the Rock, and the freaking Sky Dome blew up. And I really wish they'd have these moments like that again, but that's going to be hard to do because of what WWE's doing and everything. But still, it just like he pointed at him as a bad guy, and the roof freaking blew up.
Yep.
Why am I getting all jacked up? Oh man.
And Bobby the Brain Heenan said Hogan's the best worker because the best worker is the person that can put 10 inches between each seat. Like
Each
you get
seat.
basically each seat gets an ass. He goes, so Hogan's the best worker ever because he puts the most butts in seats.
I can't argue that. And that's why I know Hogan gets a bad rap because of he does tell some freaking bullshit stories and all that. I get it.
But people
But
take those way too far.
oh,
He is like
they'll
he's like the
twist his
carny of the
shit.
carny, yeah. But
Yes.
he's just being carny.
He knows he's doing it, and they're taking the freaking bait from it. But
Like the
that's
Metallica thing, people took that seriously. Like he was really going to be a Metallica.
yeah,
Come on.
right. No, exactly. It's still and but they love to run with it. That's what these dirt sheets do. And maybe they're desperate too to run with something. I've never read a dirt sheet in my life, so I can't really comment too much. And I'm taking my own tangent on it. So I don't know. I do know that they do goof with them and troll them just as bad. And here's something funny. So Cornette hates Russo. We know this, right?
Yes.
Bischoff, I don't know that Bischoff hates Russo at this point in his life because Vince isn't. I know Vince doesn't hate anybody. I know. Cornette is never going to talk to Vince. Bischoff, maybe in the next 5-10 years, may talk to Vince, but still, they're not pals. I know Pritchard and Vince had a falling out. All those guys can't stand Meltzer.
Yeah.
So there's something to do with, and I know there's so many more also that were writers or something that just, or your bookers that I don't know how JR is with Meltzer, but I know he's called him out. Even the wrestlers are calling him out on shit now. So I don't know why people even listen to that shit. I know why, because they want to be in, but I don't know why, because it's just kind of like you're moving lateral. You're not gaining anything, in my opinion, but what do I know, dude?
He's got some of his sources or some of the people, I mean, they absolutely love him. But like the guys you mentioned, they definitely do not like Meltzer.
But again, the guy's made a career doing it. So maybe he's the ultimate carny. So egg on our face again.
Somebody was saying, maybe it was Russo, but somebody was saying like he might be the best worker like of them all because he hasn't even had to take a bump or get in the ring, and he makes 120 grand a year, whatever it is. I mean, he makes a ton of money every year from his subscription.
Yeah, no, I mean that's I can't fault him for that, and if he's doing it, then he's a good businessman, but he's just a dick. He's a weirdo too. That's the other thing. Like he's so damn awkward. I'm with a mask on, talking to people, doing shows. He's really awkward. Let's just say that.
I can see that. A little bit awkward, yeah, for sure. He's got I don't know why like those guys do live shows. I never understood that though, because you're supposed to be like the behind the scenes, like the dirt guy, you're getting the rumors of. I never understood why they're doing shows. It's weird that people are so into them. You know what I mean? Like they're not the wrestlers.
That's true.
I'd
they
want to
become
see
the
Hulk.
star.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird.
Yeah, I never even thought of that. Shit, you're onto something with that, dude.
I know. I was because I always see even Conrad, your buddy. He had him at Starcast. I was like, that is so weird. And then Mark Madden, who obviously was a commentator for WCW, he was like, "Why are these guys here?" He goes, "I know why I'm here. Why are these guys here?" I was like, "Yeah, that is strange. Why would you like bring them in and they're running like their own kind of Q&A thing?" I was like, "That's strange. I'd rather hear Sting and Scott Hall and
the
those
guys
guys
that were in there. Like, no, that's true, because again, they're going to give you their answer, which may be right or wrong. That's such a good point, man. I didn't realize how short the guy was either. I'm not tall, but like I was in the green room with him, and he stands out because he's just awkward. He's just awkward. But yeah, I don't know. That's such a good point. Holy shit.
Hey, nobody works harder than him, though. Apparently, he's working.
That's what he said, right? More than McMahon and more than right. Yeah. Oh, look, if whatever, some people collect stamps, dude. Whatever makes people sleep at night, I'm fine with it. As long as it doesn't change my life.
Supposedly, Vince McMahon doesn't sleep. So, I mean, if you're working more than that guy, who is a billionaire, many times over,
he gets his 3 hours, and he's full of shit too. Because first of all, if you got 3 hours of sleep for that long, you'd be dead. I'm sorry, you'd have health issues unless he's literally a freaking cyborg, which I'm not convinced he isn't at this point. Because
you ever see his mother? His mother's like 102 years old.
Holy shit! Really?
Yeah.
I have not.
Pretty amazing.
He's 73 or 4 now, right?
I think he's 75. I think he just turned 75.
Holy shit! And his wife is close to that. Linda is.
She's probably about 5 years younger, maybe.
Cradle Robin. All right.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I do. Look, I mean, again, the guy's got access to whatever the hell he wants, so he can feel rejuvenated anyway. But
But you ever
you,
watch Seinfeld? You ever see Kramer? Remember that one episode he tries to do cat naps? He's like napping a lot, but he's not really sleeping. But then he ends up passing out, and they think he's dead.
oh, I didn't see. I wasn't a
Uh,
Seinfeld. I know, and
uh,
Vince yells at me about that too. That I wasn't a Seinfeld guy. I don't know. I missed the
man.
best time in wrestling, and I wasn't a Seinfeld guy.
But
I'm not as cool as I thought I was, man.
damn,
That's all.
Kramer thought he had this theory about sleeping. You sleep less, you can be more productive. But then throughout the day, he's just more tired, and he keeps taking naps, and like it
So he
doesn't
gets
work
nothing
out.
done basically,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
is
yep,
he up all night too after that,
yes,
or what? Like, oh,
yep.
okay.
He's waking Jerry up in the middle of the night. Yeah,
Oh, son of a bitch. Well, that's
yeah.
see, then that's
I can't
why
believe
they
it.
were brilliant.
So you missed Seinfeld. You missed the
Hmm.
Monday Night Wars. Oh my God, those are like
I missed the
my
NWO. That was your
yeah.
life, dude.
Holy shit, yeah, my God. I still watch Seinfeld every night on Channel 11,
Well,
obviously.
WPIX, of
Yeah, it's
course.
on 11:30 every night.
Yeah, I don't get out much. I act like I do, but again, kayfabe. Are we allowed to
Yes.
say that kayfabe? And even though I'm an outsider, I can say
Yep.
that word.
Hey,
All right, right on.
you're working on their backs and their necks and stuff, so you could say it.
Yeah, and that's not kayfabe. Well, if I screw up, I'm a kayfabe, man. Just pretend it's a new injury. You got it in the. Am I ruining this interview yet or no? Because that was my intention.
Yes, of course.
Oh, good. All right.
As soon as you got on. Yeah, yeah.
Right. As soon as I'm like, why is he calling? He wants to interview Ocho? Who the
Yeah,
fuck wants to
yeah.
do that? I've been doing this stuff for 2 years, and not one person has ever said, "Hey, let's interview this chucklehead."
What's their problem? Even
Oh,
Russo knew like he's
I
got to get
agree.
you on.
I agree. Honestly, I gotta connect. We haven't done bromance in a couple of weeks because he's been doing his the site and everything. So I gotta get up with him one of these days. So we'll
Channel
figure.
Attitude is the new name. Do you like that name?
I actually I thought so. I do this show with Rad Rob, who somewhat.
Oh yes,
Nobody
yes.
wants to know him, but we all know him.
Right.
And I actually thought they said anal attitude, and I was like, why would he name this thing anal attitude unless they're doing an OnlyFans thing? And I think someone's mic cut out, but still, I'm thinking anal attitude might have been a little more catchy than channel
Yeah,
attitude.
yeah, I kind of like and the double A thing going on. That's
Yeah,
not
right.
bad. Yeah.
Exactly. Like Arn Anderson would be proud of that. So
Yeah,
I know my old
Channel
school shit.
Attitude.
Channel attitude. Yeah, I gotta check it out. I did I got the email, so it is how lazy I am. And I listened to every show when it was on my feed. I haven't listened to one show in the last, what is it, 3 weeks now that the site's been down?
That's what I was saying too. Is like I am so lazy. If it doesn't pop up on my phone, like I don't feel like going to my
I'm not
email.
the only one. Oh my god. I'm not
Is
the
that
only
lazy
one.
or what? Is
I,
that lazy of me?
And not only that, like I could get my email within 2 seconds. I just don't want to. It's just because,
But that would
oh my
require
god.
me to go to the next screen on my phone,
Yeah,
and
and
I
then I
gotta
gotta
click
click
it.
it. It's a new window, and I'm driving in the car. I'm already texting. I'm not looking where I'm going. And then the next thing I know, I'm where I'm at, and I haven't looked at where I even. Who knows how many kids I ran over? I mean,
Right.
shit. So I'm trying to be a safe driver.
With Red Rob, you mentioned him. What's going on? So you guys are doing like a bowling show, and you're doing other shows, and you're doing contests, and I don't
This
know
is
what the hell's
yeah. This I don't
going on
either.
over there.
Honestly, the one show I have no I have no clue. He says, hey, we're gonna do a show Monday night. Comes out Thursday, and my heart sinks because I go, oh, we really are still doing this. It's so depressing. And then we do it and we have a good old time. Honestly, it's beyond nonsensical. It's so dumb. I don't think anybody should listen to it. I'm supposed to be promoting the show. It's
Right.
awful. But I want you guys to find out how awful it is for yourself. And so we do these little top 5 things, which are kind of funny. Rob and I are basically making fun of each other and we laugh. And then he has to splice it and get all the laughter out. And that's it. It's the dumbest shit ever. It's so dumb. Rob, I hope you love this promo I'm cutting for the show. And it's RTW main event. And that's pretty much it. Now the bowling show, because am I yelling because the damn AC's on? I feel like I'm
Nope.
yelling.
Yeah, all good.
All right.
All good.
Right on. So Anyway, as I was saying, we do this bowling show because that's how. Remember Chris Schenkel, Pete Weber, up for a double
Yeah.
in the 10th.
Yeah.
If he makes this, he's the Firestone Tournament of Champions.
Are you a big bowling fan?
No, I wasn't. Matter of fact,
Really?
much like I didn't know who Megan Flair was, I had no clue who Johnny Petraglia was. Not so, and that's how I became friends with Johnny Jr. after finally meeting Johnny Sr. after not knowing who he was and embarrassing him a bunch of times unintentionally. He thought it was funny. It wasn't like I did anything bad, just cracking jokes on a bowler guy that we bowl with. So we've discussed that in what's called Straight Up Five. That's some bowling lingo. So Johnny Petraglia Jr. and I coached him years ago, kayfabe, coached his dad years ago, kayfabe, coached all these bowlers, kayfabe, and became friends with Johnny Jr. And he's actually a very charismatic guy. As much as you think bowlers, even the stigma goes like with Kingpin, like the guy eating the freaking hot dog
Yeah.
in the Miller Lite. Johnny Jr. is in shape. He's an athlete. He was a great baseball player, great golfer, and the dude can throw a freaking bowling ball. And he's been around the sport for a long time. His dad is literally, I think he was voted the 16th greatest bowler in history. He's going to
Wow.
be on the show. And I think even the way I found out that Rad Rob was a bowling guy was a fluke because I said something like, yeah, I finally joined a bowling league again for the first time in years. And he was like, oh my God, I used to bowl. And I was like, no way. I have all these bowling balls from these pros and I don't know who the frig half of them are. And he was like, well, name some of them. And he's like, how do you not know who that guy is? So that's kind of how that was. And it stopped right there until like a year later. I think I was just brainstorming and I said, dude, what if we did that? Why don't I hit him up? We'll get him on one show just to do a wrestling thing because he was a wrestling fan too, Johnny Jr. Matter of fact, they talked about Randy Peterson, who was a bowler, now commentator on Fox, and he did an elbow drop on Johnny Jr. and it broke his bed in half.
Oh.
So Johnny's mom comes up and starts reading them the riot act. I mean, they're on tour. It's a tour stop. Randy Peterson has to bowl the next day for a chance to be on television. I think it was called the Johnny Petraglia Open. I mean, maybe that's a good guess. And they were doing Macho Man Randy Savage elbow drops. So
Love it.
we talked about that. And then that turned into like, man, this guy can actually like hold himself in a conversation intelligently while I interrupt every once in a while with nonsense. So let's try something. And now we do this bowling show. I think that was the only other thing we do, right? Please don't tell me I do another thing with Rad Rob.
I don't think so. I
Oh
know.
God, yeah. If you please, if you know something I don't, that's gonna hurt me. That's gonna hurt me like a punch in the dick hole.
I just remember Petey Weber with the "Who do you think you are? I am." That awesome thing.
Dumbest phrase ever. Makes no sense.
Yeah,
Makes no sense.
But they always play it. Yeah.
And what was great was Daniel Tosh used to keep playing it too. Have you seen Tosh.0?
Yes.
It was now Pete Weber. We did the first show we did, I think, was about his career. Johnny says he can get him on the show. We'll see. I know he's on the senior tour now or whatever they call it. So, and he's a wrestling guy. So I think there's a way to tie that in. Matter of fact, Pete's music used to be the Triple H, the game music, the time to play the game, which I get a kick out of that song. So I know Pete's a wrestling fan, but yeah, he would always do the crotch thing and all that and try to entertain and got a bad rap for it because it's supposed to be the gentlemanly sport. But look, you need charisma in anything, basically. That's why tennis sucks now. Like, when you had Agassi and, these guys, Jimmy Connors, McEnroe, there was some charismatic shit going on. And now it just sucks. But I'm going off on a rant now. How do you do this to me? I was about ready to fall asleep when you hit me up with this freaking link. And now I'm freaking ready to go. But
now you're talking about tennis. You're talking about bowling and
I'm
tennis.
all
You're
over the place. But it's what can Ocho do?
Yeah, oh my God, you're all over the place. But let's hit the wind down. Let's head towards the finish. What's next for Ocho? What's going on with you?
I got to find a way to block Rad Rob. Now, maybe you can help me with this. I'm not sure because I do feel bad because he's really not a bad guy. He's a nice guy. I just have to find a way to block him. So I'm thinking what we should do is maybe, um, you say I'm sick and like, I can just disappear for a few weeks. So that I didn't look good. My mask was green or something like that.
Yes, yes.
After the show, and I'll say, hey, by the way, off air, and I'll tell you. So I think maybe we'll do that, and then I could just fade off and just start being, doing Ocho things and be left alone because I don't want to be bothered by anybody anymore.
Cracking backs and
I need to do my
yeah.
thing. I gotta, I got. There's so much of Ocho to go around that I feel like he's not being utilized evenly. So but
Yeah,
don't
Red
we don't have
Rob's
to tell
really
Rob
using
this
it a
shit.
lot.
Yeah, yeah. It's I know it's gonna be probably 8 months or so by the time we really, but you could plant the seed now. Just be like, Rob, he wasn't good, man. Matter of fact, you could say like I didn't put it up, but you could block him from the site so he doesn't see the show. If we could do that, that would be really beneficial. Oh, we're still recording.
Oh
Shit.
shit. Oh damn. Whoops. Oh,
Damn
Rob,
it.
forget about that.
Don't
Don't
worry
worry.
about that, Rob. No, I don't know. I don't know, man. I think we're just we're gonna try. I like this bowling thing we're doing because there are none. A bunch of people who've never wrestled talking about wrestling is just stupid, in my opinion. So, no offense. I don't mean it like that. That's not what I meant. Because you guys do awesome stuff and you have wrestlers. I didn't mean you. Believe me. I meant idiots that do it. Because there's 5 million wrestling podcasts, right?
Oh yeah. Yes.
So, like, I just, that's so dumb. That's why the whole point of when we did the Grappler Gazette originally was I was like, talking to Grappler 6, I'm like, we should do the Onion. Where the Onion would put these fake stories and
Yes.
that's it. That's it. And that's there you go. There's your spot. So I don't want to talk about wrestling. I don't watch it, so I don't know enough about it anyway. And I wouldn't know enough about it because it's almost like these guys dissect it so much that you don't know. No one knows what the hell they're saying. And they wouldn't know a good match if it bit them. We wouldn't know a good. All we see are the damn moves and everything that shit that nobody would ever do in a fight. I've been in a lot of fights and I never done a somersault on somebody in my life. I could just say that. But and they love to use the terms and the insider stuff, and it's like talking gibberish to somebody. So unless you're in, you're not going to know what these dirt sheets are saying anyway, or even freaking half the announcers. I feel like I don't know, dude. So I don't want to do anything with wrestling, and I hope it gets better. I'll watch it
Oh,
again
me
if it
too.
does get better.
Me too. I'm hoping and praying. Longtime fan. It's not as good as it used to be. I know that for a fact.
Real quick, is it because we know too much about it? Is
I
it
think that, and I think it got into like a weird territory where they were trying to have good matches when back in the day it was more like developing the character. You became emotionally invested in the thing. Like the NWO, sometimes it's like they just come out and beat the shit out of people. Who cares if there's a match? You know what I mean? Like you
right,
get
right?
so into it.
And we knew it was fake at that point. Sorry, fake. You know what I mean? It'll work.
Yep.
But
Yep.
because it wasn't like the doors weren't blown off. We knew kayfabe was gonzo back in the early 90s, mid 90s. I think Vince didn't want to pay a tax or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Like a state, like athletic tax.
Yeah, they
So
were because if you're a sport, you had to pay for the commissions and the
yes,
taxes and stuff.
right,
Yeah.
right, right. The athletic commission. So,
Yep.
but yet they still had the whole attitude era. And like they killed it. So clearly it can be done. But so maybe I answered my own question by saying, is it because we know too much or because we know it's a work? But they still were able to do it. So
Yeah. Because you were so invested, even that with Steve Austin. I mean, and yes, you're interested in the pay per view. Like, okay, hopefully it's a good match, but you're more invested. Like, oh, he better not lose. Like,
yeah,
you get way more into it.
and there was a payoff too. That
Yep.
especially with like building stuff. Now I feel like storylines used to go like 6 months, 8 months, man. And now I don't know now. I do know about 5 years ago, I was perusing a little bit and things would be over in a freaking couple weeks, a month and a half, something like that. And the payoff would suck. And it would just because they just didn't want to build anybody up anymore, man. They wanted the WWE marquee, which again, I'm not name dropping, but Ryback, as he told everybody, I saw him at one of Pat Buck's shows before one of their, I think they had a falling out a while back.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
But so he told me all about it. He's like, dude, they flat out said, we are not having another John Cena. So you do all you want. He told me how he got beat out of the being on the cover of Muscle Mag by that. Actually, I will tell the story. Quick story. So he was a heel, but he's still trying to do his own thing. Ryback, he gets a bad rap. I don't know why people don't like him. I think the guy tells the truth. I think he does. And he's marketing himself. He has this nutrition product. So I don't know. I don't know what happened with him and Buck. So I don't care. It ain't my business. So I'm not picking sides. But my point is, when I talked to him, he was like, I said, they contacted me from, well, I don't remember if it was Muscle Mag or whatever. And he said, I got to talk to the higher ups. He goes to Triple H. He's like, hey, listen, Muscle Mag wants me on their cover. They want to do a workout with me and do whatever. What do you say? And Triple H is like, well, we can't, you're a heel. You don't want to blur the lines too much. And he's like, blur the lines. Like, dude, we do interviews in person now. We don't do everything in character anymore. What are you talking about? He's like, well, let me. Now, this is when they were doing the authority gimmick, because that's what's good for business.
Yep.
He gets the squash put on it. And but Ryback's like, look, maybe next month we'll do it. He's like, all right, no worries. Who's on the cover of Muscle Mag that month? Triple H. I believe, I don't have the right magazine, but it was a fitness magazine. Triple H is on the cover. Now Ryback's pissed. He's like, dude, you said I shouldn't go on because I'm a heel. You don't want to blur the lines too much. You want me to stay in character. You're a freaking heel, freaking authority figure. Yeah, but I'm not an active wrestler, blah, 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 All right, well, he's like, hey, goes to the magazine. He's like, I don't care if they say yes or no. I'll do it. And they're like, well, we already have somebody for this month. He's like, all right, what about next month? Well, we'll see. Who goes out on the second month? With Stephanie McMahon. Shit you not. Yep. Now, come to third month. He's like, I'm in. I don't care. He's like, we already got somebody. It was Nikki Bella, who was dating Cena at the time. I just pulled my headphones out. Hang on.
What a screw job. Ryback got screwed.
Hold on. I can't. Damn it.
The Grappler is having a little problem.
They really are just rotten people.
He got screwed. There's no doubt about it. Ryback
they're really horrible people. Like, that's just that you're mowing another guy's lawn. Like, he went up to you to ask if he could do this. You wouldn't have known about it. It's banging someone else's chick, basically, who you just found out was single. Hey, you mind if I date this chick? Well, let's see. I don't know. Maybe no one should date her right now. And then you go in and bang the shit out of her or whatever. I'm really blanking at the terms here, but that's Ocho, man. All right.
What else, or where else can everybody find you? Like social media, all the plugs, rerun them. Talk about Red Rob again. Everything you got.
I'm on RTW Main Event every Thursday. I do Bromance most Sundays. He's been off for a little bit, but we'll get back on it with Vince Russo. Sundays live on YouTube, 9 p.m. ish Eastern time. Where else? I'm Midnight Mike is about every month, because I keep winning these damn trivia shows. I'm winning it because everything's all about 80s. I cannot lose. My God, I can't lose. I've been on for freaking, I think, 8 years now, all because of these 80s shows. I'm hoping we get to the 90s soon so I could phone it in and be done with this shit. But that's on the Midnight Jury, and it's on WLW Studios. I think there's going to be one Saturday. Depending on when this Saturday, I don't know, it's going to be a Saturday. Just pay attention to Twitter. I am at the DR Ocho. Shoot, what is my Twitter handle? Rob always says it. All right. At the DR Ocho. At the Dr. Ocho on Twitter. What else do I do? I don't do much else. I don't really do anything. I show up when I'm supposed to. I hate it. And then I bitch about it usually the following week. So that's pretty much me. That goes, right?
Makes sense. Yep.
But it's easy to be a dick when you get to wear a mask all the time. That's all I can say.
Yeah, you get like a deflector.
Carte blanche, dude. Right? It's like Captain America's mighty shield. It's like, this is Ocho's dick shield.
Nice. But great stuff, Ocho. Thank you so much for coming on. We're gonna have you back. Maybe do some stuff, do some collabs together. But thank you so much for all the time. Appreciate it.
Definitely, man. I appreciate it too. I would love to. It's always fun talking to you because you kind of keep me grounded. You're so calm and collected, man. It's hard for me to. It's hard for me to blow off too much. So definitely would love to. No, you're good. I definitely would love to. Plus, knowing what you know, I'm sure our brains are kind of synced in pretty damn close too.
Yeah. Yes, us Jersey guys got to stick together. There's no
You're
doubt about it.
damn right. You're damn right. You got that right, buddy.